Hello everyone, Matt from Model Minutes here, and welcome back to the workbench for another unboxing. Today I'm taking a look at this, the Havilland DH.88 Comet in 1/72 scale from Airfix. So join me as I take a look inside the box and see what this kit is like. So first off, on the outside of the box you can see we've got slightly different artwork, and this stems from the fact that this was a Lidl UK kind of limited edition product line which was released around Father's Day of June 2026. It has that quite nostalgic vibe similar to the Airfix model kits from the 50s and 60s, given the kind of artwork. We have a product code over here of A68229, and I presume that this means it's suitable for those aged 8 years and older. It does indicate that we have some paints, brush and poly cement included, and you can see we have some quite stylized digital artwork, which I have been informed was created by a person and not AI generated, which is quite good because that's how we should be doing things. If we have creativity, we should be creating it by people. If we flip over to the back, we can see we have our decal and painting placement instructions. So this aircraft depicts one from 1934, as you can see on the bottom, and we have a Cartograph logo telling us that the decals are manufactured by Cartograph, so they should be to a good quality. Colour painting instructions are really handy because it helps make sure we get things in the right places and helps to remove any ambiguity. Over here on the right hand side we have some other bits of information, but most importantly we have tooling information. I was concerned that Airfix were going to hide it on this kit, but actually it's included, and it tells us that this is a 1958, yes, you read that right, 1958 tooling and a 2026 release. So just a small point on that, Lidl considers this to be a starter kit, but I know for a fact that Airfix considers this as a gift set. So this isn't a starter kit by any means, because it's an old tooling in a new box and it's going to have its own challenges. If we flip to the thin edge, we have some information about the actual DH.88 Comet, and we also have a little indication here of the included paints and things, and then we have a skill level. Airfix thinks this is going to be quite easy to build, but I know, having already built one some years ago, that it's not necessarily as clear cut as a normal starter or beginner kit might be. Thin edges feature the same information that we've already seen. And there is one more side here which just has some safety warning information. No flying hour coupons that I can see, so let's get inside the box and see what we were actually met with. As you can tell, I've already had some of this open because as soon as I got back from the shop I was intrigued to see if the quality had improved in any way. First up, the accessories. We've got a Humbrol paintbrush. This is a number 2. Generally they work okay, a little bit of water to reactivate the bristles, but the number 2s are okay. They're synthetic nylon, I believe, and although not great for large surface areas, they're sort of middle of the road. They do finer details okay in some respects, but not the finest of details, but wide areas not so great, but they work well, and I have quite a stash of those. Paints, etc. So you only get 3 paints in this kit. I guess that helps to save costs for Airfix. So first up we've got some poly cement. That's Humbrol poly cement, although actually it just says Hornby Hobbies poly cement on there. It doesn't actually have the Humbrol logo on there, even though it would be. And yep, glue is a gel, but it works. It works. It's not the best glue in the world, but it works. Then we have 3 paints. 19 is a gloss red. Historically quite a difficult paint to work with. It can be thick and gloopy. I've used it previously, but this is in the slightly more recent paint pots, which, you know, Airfix have, or Humbrol have improved upon. So you can see that the paint inside is completely liquid and completely usable, which is an improvement over some of the dried paints we've had in the past. 11 is a silver, and again, that one looks usable, just a quick mix, but that one is perfectly fine to use. But I do feel personally that Humbrol does struggle a little bit with the metallics, so a different one might be better. And then 33 matte black, and that's again completely usable, so that's good. We've got 3 for 3. So that's the accessories. Let's now have a look at the paperwork. Paperwork then, as you can see at the top, it does clearly indicate that it is a gift set, not a starter set. So Airfix has a starter set range of specially designed kits. This, being an old tooling, would never technically in their eyes be a starter set. So for Lidl to call it a starter kit is a little bit misleading. So we've got some information about the Comet at the top, then some contact information down the bottom, and it's just an A3 piece of paper which opens up. Icons down here for the different things you might encounter during the build, and then we're straight on to this particular project. So you can see it's very simple. It's a 1950s tooling. There's not a lot to it. We've got two fuselage halves which join together. Pilots' heads are glued or manufactured inside of that already. Tail surfaces and wing surfaces get added. We come down to our engine. Engine nacelles have our props. If you glue them in correctly, you should have a freely rotating prop. Wheels go in, so the landing gear goes in the bottom here. It doesn't look like there is a raised landing gear option, but I think with a little bit of modification you could do that. You repeat that for both sides. You add that onto your wings, the tail skid and the canopy goes on, and that's it. That's literally it. So that's why they think it's a skill level 1. It's easy to do because it's not a complicated assembly process, but it's going to have some little issues, I think, because when I built this, I remember it being quite a clunky kit. We've got one sheet of decals manufactured by Cartograph. You can see the printing on them is really quite good. So the letters have come out really nicely, no blemishes, no tears. Cartograph decals are really good, so I don't anticipate there being any problems with applying these onto the model itself. So that's nice to see. There was a concern, well, I had a concern that there weren't going to be any decals inside the kit, but it's good that they are there. Then we're met with our plastic parts. So everything came sealed in a bag. Obviously, I've already had it open. We'll look at the clear parts first, because that's a nice place to start. What we have here is just a molded lump, basically just a big lump of plastic. There's no framework on there, there's no canopy lines, so yeah, it's if you're going to do any masking or something, you're gonna have to do some work on there. I feel like they may have polished the molding though, because this is a little bit clearer than I remember it being. I remember it being quite a bit sort of almost cloudy or damaged in my original build of it, but that could just be me misremembering. There are some scuffs, there are some scratches in a few places, so it's not perfect, but it's usable by the looks of it. As a small point, I have been very kindly sent a set of masks for the Comet from UK Scale Modeler, so there are some mask sets already out there, and these effectively work off the principle of using the mask set to create the framework, which is probably what I'll be doing to get it all in the right place, because there isn't any. So yeah, mask set exist. Thank you UK Scale Modeler for sending those out. That is a free sample, but opinions remain my own. I've not been paid or anything to include them in this video. We have then after that some plastic parts. So 1, 2, 3. 3 runners of red plastic. I don't really like red plastic. I don't like it when they do like coloured kits, because it makes it a little bit more tricky to paint. I know you're going to paint it red, so you could just rattle can it red or whatever, or you could even just leave it in the bare plastic if you wanted and call it a day. As you can see though, on the outside of the plastic, there's not really anything in the way of detail. I think that Airfix has polished the moulding because it looks a little bit smoother. It looks a little bit tidier than I perhaps remember it being. If you look carefully here, there is like a little indentation in the bottom of the fuselage halves, which I believe was for a display stand once upon a time. So you could potentially cut that out if you wanted to. I have got some vintage display stands which I might use. Actually, that's what I might do. I might go wheels up and put it in a flying pose, because after all, you've got some heads. You've got flying heads already inside. So that's probably what I'll do. Very old, very simple way of doing pilots back in the day, so this does obviously hint back to that time. Raised details in a few places and a few little recessed ones, but nothing too much there. Ejector pins are on this side, a little bit heavy, so some work may be needed to clean them up. This runner contains our wheels, our landing gear legs, our sort of mud flaps, and our props. Again, there's a bit of flash which will need cleaning up. It's a little bit tatty, it's a little bit old, obviously, but I do think that Airfix did clean this tooling up a little bit before they released it, because it does look a little bit neater than I remember. This brings us on to the wings. Yeah, so if you look carefully, you can see as the light catches it, there is like almost like polish marks going in this direction, which I think does hint that they tidied this up a bit. Raised framework or panel lines on the ailerons, and I presume these would have been flaps once upon a time, but ejector pin marks are quite heavy here, so that might need filling and sanding. A little bit annoying. Same with the sort of cutaways for the nacelles, and there is a slight mold misalignment here on the edges of the wings which will need tidying up too. Engine nacelles, again, a little bit chunky, a little bit of flash on there that will need tidying up. A few little details, but not much, not really. And then we've got tail surfaces. So yeah, a very simple, crude kit. Maybe not necessarily one of the best kits in the Airfix range, given its age. An interesting subject, no doubt, but, you know, to advertise this as a starter kit, I think is a little bit ambitious. It could cause problems, especially imagine if this was a genuine starter set, someone who's never built an Airfix kit buys this and they see what's inside and they're going to be like, oh, that's disappointing. So this shouldn't be a first impression, and I think to market it as a starter set on the little website is a bit not necessarily as honest as it possibly could be. It is a gift set at the end of the day. It's not designed for a beginner. So yeah, let's round this one off. We had some red plastic parts, not my favourite. Moulding it looks a little bit neater, a little bit tidier than perhaps it could be, but it's a vintage kit, isn't it? This should be in the vintage classics range, really. One clear part which has no detail, so the canopy masks are going to be used to fix that problem. One sheet of decals though, manufactured by Cartograph, so those are brand new, latest edition, should be really good quality. One set of instructions which are, you know, fairly straightforward to follow, quite nicely laid out, not too bad. We had one tube glue. Not the best glue in the world, but it works. One paintbrush, again, same kind of deal, it works. And 3 pots of paint, but I probably would be going to use my own things. I might even just rattle can it and call it a day, because that would be the easiest option to do. All of which does come inside of this box, which is quite reminiscent of the old sort of 1950s artwork that they used to do, which I think does lend itself to that nostalgia vibe of it being like Father's Day, harking back to kits that people may have potentially built when they were much younger. So I kind of like the idea of it, but I'm not necessarily sure how I feel about the execution of it. As mentioned, this was UK Lidl, sort of June 2026 Father's Day period, almost like a limited edition kind of deal. On the Lidl website, they are listed at £6.99, which actually, for a model kit, is a pretty good price, especially considering the fact that you get paints and glues, etc. inside. Of course, in this particular instance, we've got a kit which dates from the 1950s. I know on the box they said 1958 over here, but actually on ScaleMates they seem to think it's 1957, but ScaleMates is community curated, so it's possible that there is a little bit of misalignment with the dates, but it's around the same time period. There have been a number of releases of this, and I think the one that I built previously was the 1998 release, so I would have built that around the 2000s. It is a simple kit, but it is clunky. It's going to need work. It's going to need tidying up. Maybe it's not a great first introduction to the hobby or to Airfix as a brand. If you did want a more serious model kit, I think Clearprop have a 2024 tooling, which no doubt is up to modern standards, but you're not going to be paying £7 for it. You're going to be spending closer to 25 to 30. So that's the kind of swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Do you want a top of the line modern kit, which is going to be really high quality, but, you know, cost quite a bit, or one that is a fraction of the price, but is old and tatty? I think this will make an interesting project to do as a weekend, but not necessarily a serious kit in its own right. And with that, I think I'm going to leave that one here. Let me know what you thought of my unboxing review in the comments below, and if my assessment of this kit was fair. As always, don't forget that we have a Model Minutes Model Club, and if you'd like to join the Model Club and get exclusive access to early videos and other perks just like these guys on screen, check out the links below the video. Massive thanks to these guys on screen for the extra support they give the channel, helping me to create consistent content. There are other ways to help support the channel if you'd prefer, but the best way to help support the channel for free is by subscribing with notifications turned on so you never miss a modelling upload. Finally though, last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.